Hey guys, welcome back to our channel Glitched Velocity. I'm your host Wazahat, and today in this video I'm gonna ease out the process of creating 2D games in Coppercube 3D game engine. So I have created a bunch of different scripts that will do the job. These scripts are going to be a paid asset, which means you have to purchase them in order to use them in your game. So without further ado, let's jump right into the topic. So the first thing I want to show you is the creation of 2D animation in Coppercube 3D. So let me just open the editor and maximize it. So if you want to create a 2D animation without using any scripts or plugins, what we do is we generally delete the default cube mesh and we create a plane mesh with tile count 1, width of whatever we want, length of whatever we want, and then we simply go to behavior and then effect behavior and then animate a texture. And then we manually provide all the texture or all the frames that we want for our animation to the plane mesh. So like this, we supply all the frames manually. But this process is very time consuming and becomes very tedious when we have visually similar textures. So in order to save us a lot of time, my plugin comes into the play. So let me just delete this and show you how my plugins will help you in creating animation, 2D animation much faster and will save you a lot of time. Suppose if you have thousands of frames for a single animation, or if you have 100+ frames, then all the work you have to do, you have to manually select each frame 1,000 times. And suppose if you have multiple animations, then you have to create multiple plane meshes and do those stuff. And that will be a lot of time consuming, and this plugin will save you a lot of time when creating 2D animations. So all you have to do is you have to press Ctrl, Shift and 2, and it will open a prompt window here which will ask you for enter the name of 2D animation. So you need to make sure that the name you are going to put here is unique, which means that your scene graph explorer does not contain any scene node with the same name as your 2D animation that you are going to create. For right now, I don't have any scene node with the name walk, but still I'm going to rename it to walk up because I'm going to use a walk up animation to showcase in this video. So I'm gonna hit OK and it will open a file selection window. Then it reads that please select any frame of your walk up animation. And I already have some sprites on my desktop from the Age of Empire game. So I'm going to select some of them. So go to sprites, then units, then villager. I'm going to use the villager unit, and we have walk animations. Then we have different animations for different directions. And right now we are going to use walk up animation. So I'm going to select up folder. Then you will notice we have some animation frames here from frame 1 to frame 15. So in total, we have 15 frames for walk up animation. And you need to make sure that there will be no other file in this folder other than your animation frames. And the nomenclature of these frame files should be like this: frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4. So the base name should be frame, and then we will have our incremented value like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. We can select whatever frame we want. So I'm going to select frame 9 and hit open. It will open message log. You can simply close it. It doesn't matter. But you will notice that it created a new scene node here in our scene graph explorer with the name walk up. And it is going to be our 2D animation for our villager. And if I scroll the textures panel here, then you will also notice that it already loads all the texture in our texture panel. So we have frame 1 and frame 10, frame all. So it doesn't matter if they are not in order. So, but it loads all of them. So it doesn't matter. Let me just move it here. We have 31:48 resolution for our player or the villager walk-up animation. Now we are going to create the actual player. So we are going to create a plane mesh with tile count 1, width of 31, and length of 48, because we have the resolution of 31:48 here. And it will create a plane mesh. And now we are going to apply the animation, walk-up animation on this plane mesh, which is our villager. So I'm going to rename it to villager. So I'm going to select it and rename it to villager. And then we are going to apply a behavior, which is again going to be a scripted behavior. So go to scripted behavior and simply select set 2D animation, which will open these properties. Then we have to select the animation, which we have just created in the first process. So we have to select walk up here, and it will assign the walk up animation to our villager as the default animation. So we can change the animation speed by increasing or decreasing the time per frame here. I'm going to use 3 here because it works most of the time for me. You can change it to according to your preferences. Then we have this option here, looping. You can check or uncheck it if you want to make the animation loop, or if you don't want the animation to be looped. So yeah, we have affecting material as well. If your object has multiple materials and you only want to animate one single material, then you can specify the affecting material here. So as we have only one material, so we are going to leave it on 1 here. And now if I test the application, then you will notice that it will automatically play the walk up animation on this plane mesh. So if I hit the play button here, then you'll notice it is playing the walk up animation. But you might be thinking that it is not appearing correctly because I have made a mistake here. While creating the plane mesh, I have switched the length and width by 31 by 48. So I'm going to delete this and create a new plane mesh with tile count 1 and width of 31, length of 48. And then I'm going to rename it to villager. It doesn't matter if you don't want to rename it, but I'm going to rename it anyways. Then we are going to apply the behavior, scripted behavior, set 2D animation. Then we are going to select our animation, which is walk up. And then I'm going to change the time per frame to 3. And if I test the application, you will notice now it looks much better. But you will also notice that there is this pink area around the player. And that is because our plane mesh has a material type of solid, and we need to change it to transparent alpha channel because our texture has transparency. So we are going to use transparent alpha channel. And if I test the application now by going in publish here and check the public, now we don't see any pink boundary or area around the player. So that's it. That's how you create 2D animation. But what if we want to change the animation during runtime? So for that, I have also created an action that you can use. So let's say you want to change the animation from walk up to walk down when we press a key. For example, when we press F key. So in order to do that, first we need to create a new animation for walk down. So I'm going to press Ctrl Shift and 2, and I'm going to name it walk down. And then I'm going to select walk down animation by going to our down folder here, and then select any of the frame for the walk down animation. It is also having 15 frames for the walk down animation. And it will load the animation here. So we have walk down animation now here. And then we are going to simply attach a behavior triggered by event when a key is pressed to something. You can use whatever event you want. For example, if you want to use on proximity event, then you can use that event or behavior. I'm calling this an event, but it is actually a behavior. So you can call it whatever you want. So let's just select the key as F. And then we are going to attach a new scripted action, set 2D animation of a scene node. And this works very similar to the action that changes the 3D animation. So you won't get any difficulty here. So change which scene node, we have to select the scene node that we want to change the animation. In our case, it is villager. And then we have to select the new animation here that we want to apply on the villager. So we want to apply the walk down animation. Then we can specify the animation related properties like time per frame, affecting material, if you want the animation to be looped or not looped. So let me just change the time per frame to 3 and hit OK. And now if I test the application by pressing this play button here, so we can see that our villager is walking in the up direction or is playing the walk up animation. But as soon as I press F, it is going to switch the animation from walk up to walk down. So if I press F, then you will notice it is now facing towards the camera or towards us, which means that it is now playing the walk down animation. So it saved us a lot of time. Imagine you have to do this for all the frames, all the 30 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 30, manually by attaching this behavior, effect behavior, animated texture, and then you have to do this manually. And all those frames are not loaded in order. So you have to check this by dragging it here like frame 1. Then you can't simply select this because it is frame 10. It is not frame 2. So when you load the textures, it is going to be a more difficult when you use this behavior instead of my custom plugin and behaviors to create 2D animation. So these all are visually similar, and nope, it is going to be a really mess when you select or create an animation for your 2D game with the animated texture behavior. So I recommend you guys to use this plugin and extensions instead of the default one, because it is going to automate the process and will save you a lot of time. There are some things that you need to keep in your mind, and I'm going to repeat them again so that you don't mess with the behavior and plugins, all those. So first thing that you need to keep in your mind while creating animations with this extensions and plugins is whenever you are creating the name for your 2D animation, you need to make sure that there is no scene node in your scene graph explorer that contains the same name as your new 2D animation. So right now, I'm gonna change it to something like walk down left. And then the second thing that you have to keep in your mind is that there should be no other file than the animation frames in your animation folder from which you are selecting the animation file or the frames file. So as you can see, I already have these PNG files only, and I haven't made any specific changes to the file selection here, and it will show you all the files, because if there is any file in the folder, then you can easily see it. So if you have any other files like this sequential file name cleaner, if I move it here, then you will easily see that there is something else or some other files in the folder. Then you can delete it or move it to somewhere else before loading or creating the 2D animation. And you need to make sure that your animation frame should have these nomenclature like frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, frame 8. And if you don't have this kind of nomenclature, then what you can do is you can simply go to your folder where you have your frames, animation frames like this. So let me just open left. So you can see I don't have frame 1, frame 2, frame 3 here, but instead of frame 1, I have left 1, left 2, left 3, left 4. What I can do is I'm simply going to select them all and press Ctrl F2 to rename. Sorry, F2 to rename, not Ctrl F2. And then I'm going to simply type frame here. And this will rename them all. But you will also see these parentheses or the brackets around these numbers like frame, then brackets open, 1.png, like this. And in order to remove or automate this process, I have also included this batch file here, sequential file name cleaner.bat. All you have to do is copy this in the folder where all the frames resides, paste it and execute it by double clicking it or pressing enter, and it will rename all of them. Then you can simply move it somewhere else or delete it. It's up to you. This will automatically remove the parentheses from the name, and it will save you a lot of time for renaming a bunch of different files. So it doesn't matter if you have more than 15 frames or if you have 100 frames, if you have 1000 frames, it is going to be loaded in much faster and much quicker than the animated texture behavior. So yeah, that's it. That's how you can use this plugin or extensions. There are also some controllers that I have created to ease out the process of creating 2D games. And let me just show you what are those. As you can see, I have this 2D RPG controller and I have 2D platformer controller. I have 2D point and click RTS controller, and the final one is 2D top-down shooter, which is the extensive extension. You can do a lot of things in this 2D top-down shooter. Like you can customize all the things like bullet range, bullet speed, bullet damage, bullet magazine, recoil amount, recoil thrust on the player, shoot once, shoot delay, reload delay, bullet look into the direction, bullet destroy delay on a collision. And there is going to be an AI. Yeah, this behavior will have AI also. So you can switch between AI and player. You can use AI health, attack actor. You can also give tags, like you can specify on which actor to attack and which actor to be your ally or friend. Then we have activation radius, shooting radius, roaming around the area randomly. You can specify the maximum roaming area, minimum roaming area, and you can specify the AI tags and all those. Then we have action to execute on shoot, reload, impact, activate, hit, death. And there are also action to execute on for all those controllers. Like you will have action to execute on move, on idle, and something like that. Some of them requires physics simulation and some of them works just fine without any physics simulation. But all these extensions are meant to be used on Windows platform. They are not available for WebGL or Android, but I think most of them will work fine on other platforms as well. You can also control the speed with the help of variable, like you can use player.movement speed, player.jump velocity, player.second jump velocity. In the 2D platformer controller, you will have two options for jump, double jump and normal jump. Let me just show you some of them quickly. If I go here and close it and open the platformer first, I have already prepared a simple demo file, which you will get with the extension. So I have used assets from NCMUS or the Sunnyland files. So as you can see, I have set up this scene here. And instead of using the 2D animation with the plugin that I have just showcased you in previous project, this project uses the default animate texture behavior for 2D animations. Like we have player, then we have created player idle, player walk, player jump, player hurt, player climb, player duck, player fall, etc. with the animated texture behavior. But in the behavior for 2D platformer controller, you can go to scripted behaviors and select 2D platformer controller. It will give you a lot of properties. Let me just move it here. This is just a showcase. I will try to create a more sophisticated or more detailed video for all these platformer and controller videos. This is just a showcase videos, before releasing the plugin and extension. So first we have animation 2D mode. You can select this if you are going to use the new animation mode or the plugin and scripts that I have showcased you in previous project. And if you don't want to use those animation mode, then you can simply uncheck it and use the default animated texture behavior mode for your, animation. Then you can specify the player speed. You can select the 2D development environment like X forward or Z forward. Right now it is Z forward because Z is facing the right direction. Then we have double jump. If you uncheck it, then the player will only perform single jump. If you check it, then you will perform double jump. Then we have jump velocity. Then we have second jump velocity. Then we have jump end time. Then we have a smooth speed. Then we have all the animation selection, like what will be going to our walk animation or move animation. Then we have our jump animation. Then we have our fall animation. Then we have our idle animation. Then we will have some action on move, action on idle, action on jump, action on fall. And now let's just execute the application. So if I play the application, so I can move with the arrow keys. I can also move with the WASD keys. space to jump, and double jump. So I can do the double jump here. And as you can see, all the animations are going to controlled automatically. So you can see there are some smoothing as well. So like if I jump, it is going to be in jump animation, and whenever it is falling, it is going to be in fall animation, like this. So even if I am not jumping but I am falling, it is going to automatically switch to the fall animation. So like this, if I am not jumping but if I am falling, it is going to switch the fall animation. And as you can see, this will already controls all the basic platformer things. Like you can do all the jump sort of things. You can move, and you don't have to provide different animation for sidewalk. Like you don't have to provide animation for right side or the left side. You simply provide the walk animation for the one side, and it will automatically invert them or rotate them when creating the game or when playing the game. So you don't have to worry about anything. This will automatically handles all the animation and all the controls. All you have to do is play with these properties. So there is no other thing in this scene. All are some cube meshes for collision detection and all those stuff. As you can see, this camera has the 2D platform and RTS camera controller type, which is available to download for free from neophyte.cf. So you can go ahead and download this extension for free. And I'm also going to put this extension in the collection pack. So you will get this extension as well. So select the player here, select the platformer style camera. Then we know that we are developing in the Z forward environment. So select the Z forward here. Then we have camera smoothing and all those stuff. So yeah, those are the two extensions that will allow you to create platformer games easily without any hassle. So yep, you don't have to worry about anything. So if you don't know how to create animations with the animated texture behavior, then you can watch my video that I have uploaded years ago on how to create 2D games in Coppercube without any coding. You will get an idea. I will put the link in the I button here on the top right. Now let's just move to the next controller type. So let me just close it and open the RPG movement controller. And this is also going to use the default animated texture behavior for the player. But I also have created some, we can create some 2D animation with the plugin that I have provided you. But this behavior also provides you the option. Wait a second. To use the animation 2D mode. So you can simply check this and use the plugin to create 2D animation. If you don't want to use it, simply uncheck it. Then we have walk up animation, walk down animation, side walk animation, idle animation. Then we have some action on walk left, action on walk right, action on walk up, action on walk down, action on idle. And I have already provided all these to walk up, walk down, walk right, and idle. And we can specify the speed. We can also control the speed with the variables like player.movement speed, player.jump for jump velocity for the platformer. Let me just simply test the application. You will not be able to see anything here. If I go to publish and test the application, as you can see, I'm using the walk down animation, and I'm also using this swap specific color of a scene node shader action to make the idle animation stand out of other animation, because I don't have any idle animation for this character here. But I can move this with the WASD keys or arrow keys. So it is moving up now and it is moving down. It is still playing the down animation, but it is playing the walking animation. So it is not green. That means it is playing the walk animation. and we can move it right, we can move it left, and when we release the keys, then it will go in idle mode. You can press up, you can also press W, you can press D, A, S, so it will control the player like an RPG controller or in the role-playing games. So you can move like that with the WASD keys. You need to make sure that your camera is in the top-down mode because the RPG games are generally in top-down mode. So we have TDS style camera. You can use the same behavior for all the 2D games like 2D platform and RTS camera. It has RTS style camera. Then we will also have TDS style camera. So you can select this TDS style camera and it will, handle the top down style camera. Wherever the player will move, it will follow the player in the top down style camera. So yeah, that's the 2D RPG controller. And then we have this point and click, but I'm going to show you, wait a second, TDS top down shooter. We have this extension, and this is very huge and extensive extension, really. So we have this player here, and we have behavior 2D top down shooter. Let me just show you what you will get in this extension. You can specify the gun type, shotgun or AR. Then you can specify the bullet node that you are going to fire. Then you can specify the impact node. So the node which will show as impact animation whenever the bullet collides with anything. Then you can specify the fire point. It is a point on the player from where the bullet will get fired. Then we have player speed. Then we can specify the bullet speed, bullet damage, shoot only once. So for example, if you are holding down mouse and it will continuously shooting, but if you select this shoot once, then you can only shoot once if mouse is down. Then you have to release the mouse and then press the mouse again to shoot again. Then we have bullet range, so how far the bullet should go. Then we have time-based range. We have time-based and distance-based range. So if you have this unchecked, then bullet will goes 100 distance. But if you have this checked, then it will wait for 100 milliseconds to get destroyed or to get removed. Then we have bullet magazine. You can create whatever amount of magazine you want. For example, if you want 17 magazine for your bullet, or for example, if you want 6 magazine for your pistol, and if you want 18 bullets for your shotgun, then you can do like that. For example, reload delay, if you want the time, it is the time or the delay for reloading the gun. Then we have bullet look into direction or the bullet look into motion. And then we have aim when mouse down only. So whenever you move your cursor in the game, the player automatically aim towards the cursor. But when you have this option selected, aim only when mouse down, mouse moved, sorry, then it will only aim whenever you move your mouse, not when you move your player. Then we have additional rotation for our player. Then we have additional rotation for bullet. Then we have shoot delay. Then we have shoot angle. Then we have recoil, recoil amount, recoil thrust on player, collision destroy delay. And there are a bunch of different options. So it is really difficult to explain all of them in a single video. I will create separate videos for this extension and for platformer and for RPG controller and point and click controller. This is just a showcase videos. So yeah, we have this. So let me just show you how this works. But there is still some issues here because I haven't specified, these allies or something like that. So I have to change it. For example, this is enemy and it will attack the player. And this is ally, so I have to change it to something like enemy, and it should attack to player. And it is using the old behavior, so it is not updated, so it might act weirdly, but you will get the idea. So we have ally and it should attack enemy. So let's just try it. As you can see, so we have this impact delay, which is of 1 second. So all the bullet will get deleted after colliding. So you can see wherever my mouse is moving or my player is moving, it is always facing the mouse direction. But if I have this mouse moved, then it will only move. So I'm dead. You can see health is 0. So I'm dead. And this came here because of an, sorry, I hit my glasses with the mic. This enemy came here in the front or become large because of an issue, because this is using an old behavior which has npc folder and all those stuff. In the new behavior there is no npc folder. So yeah, these are using some old behaviors. I have to update these behaviors and I'm still working on this. So but it is almost complete and I'm going to release it in some days or in maybe 1 or 2 weeks. I hope these are going to be very helpful to you in creating 2D games and will efficiently save you a lot of time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Will ease out your process of creating 2D games with Coppercube 3D game engine. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, then subscribe to the channel. Peace out. Bye bye. Hasta la vista.